Hello, this is the video for my C++ game. It's called DemoKeep. So I'll start by playing the game for you. So it's a simple score-based game where enemies spawn over time. They spawn faster, and you take them out. On death, you will... I'll let this off die. The game over screen appears and you can restart and quit. I will say, however, there is a bug with restart where if you click restart, you can't move. So I'll show you that now. Yeah. I don't know why that is. I did try and fix that and spent quite a lot of time looking into that, but I wasn't able to figure anything out for it. Now to show you my code. Here's the code for the game. So here we've got the enemies. If you look through here, you can see all the details mentioned. The enemies, the way they function is they just find the player, they'll move towards the player, they have health, they take damage from the projectile. That's all there is to them, really. They also were going to make a sound when they spawned originally, but it crashed the engine. So you can see I've grayed out the code here, but I assume it would have made a sound, but I don't know if it was because the sound was playing multiple times, but I just hashed it out. Here you can see the movement speed here, which I could easily adjust. Same goes for damage, same goes for health. And here you can see it finding the mesh. Here on ticks, it updates regularly, it finds the player and then moves towards the player, so it's regularly updated to do that. It gets the location for the player here, and then adds the vector to the new location. On overlap here, you can see it applies the damage. And then here's the take damage, which is the event that plays. It then adds the 10 points here if it's taking damage. Due to the enemy destroying when it hits the player, I didn't want to just have it give you 10 points when the enemy destroyed, as it would naturally give you 10 points for getting hit. So I had to make it so it was when the projectile hit and it took damage, hence the score being here. Going through my character, there's quite a lot here, as there was adding UI elements, adding movement. I fully created the movement from scratch for it. I also had to add a widget for the crosshair because it follows the mouse to shoot. So you can see max health, current health, because that's kind of health values. Adding the game over screen to it. Health, score that would overlay. Added sound, and obviously, as you probably heard, the sound did work when shooting. Adding HUD effects as well. Let's go for my character CPP. So again, here you can see max health getting set, the score widget being set, getting the controller. And eventually I used the enhanced input system as well, so I had to go into, I can't remember which file it was now, but you have to add in the thing to say enhanced input system just to make sure it knows it's being used. Assigning the crosshair widget and getting the mouse position. Here's binding the actions with the input system. Adding the vectors to move forward and right, which then I did in the controller, I just set it so it's the inverse to move backwards. So there was some stuff done in Unreal Engine for that. Trace for location, current health again, handle the game over screen so when it pops up. Increasing the score and then returning that to the UI is found later on. There you go with update score down here. I did want to have the score appear on the game over screen, but I wasn't able to do it. I thought it would be quite similar to how it is in Engine, but I assume because the game over screen only comes in at the end, it can't really talk to it because it's not there. I assume there would have been ways around that by saving a score value and then passing that to the game over screen. But due to you being able to see it in the top right anyway, I wasn't too worried about that. But in terms of overall design, it would have been good to have it under game over. As I mentioned, the enemies spawn in randomly, and it actually increases over time, so they spawn at an increased rate. As you can see here, enemy spawn, area center, spawn timer, min delay, speed up amount. It's very simple code for this, it turned out, which I was surprised by, admittedly. So you have to set the spawn location and the world area, which you have to do with bounds in Engine, which was a real pain to try and get the right size of. There's probably a more efficient way of doing it. Well, there's not very much code here. I imagine you could probably set an area with a cube or something to spawn them in. I didn't do that. I had to figure it out by just adding numbers in randomly and seeing what would work. So there's probably a better way to do it, but it works. I also did try and set up a play projectile with code, but this is not in the engine. I ended up just using the basic projectile thing and then working with it through Blueprint. I think this is a bit too high level for me to work on, to be completely honest, as it was my first time working with C++. I gave it a go, but it wouldn't spawn for some reason, even though on character it's naturally set to spawn a projectile. I'll show you some of the communication in Engine as well. So we click on the projectile, so that's just loading on the other screen. Give it a second to load up. You can see here the damage it casts to the enemy. So on projectile, on begin overlap, it casts to enemy. Print a string saying hello just because I was testing and debugging it. Then on the enemy, it applies 10 damage. That's for the enemy. They naturally do that for the character as well. So they begin overlap, cast the character, take damage on the character, print it out just to test the player was taking damage, and then destroy the actor for the enemy. I believe I should have some stuff in enemy spawner as well. So this is what I mean by you can see enemy spawner. Area center, area extent. Setting these numbers randomly, making sure the position was correct, so it's the center, and extending out from there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much covers everything for the game going through it. Like I say, it's a very simple game, but it's replayable, it's an infinite loop, it's a complete experience. I think I probably could have pushed myself further, and there were elements I did cut, for example. Like, I was going to have health pickups that spawned randomly. Well, I know how to do it, as you can see on the forum. I didn't really think it added to the experience, and I just didn't see much point in adding it. It would have just been taking the damage here and inverting it, basically, so it's heals you, as I've done that in C# before. Yeah, thank you for listening and watching my video.